Climate change is not some bleak future scenario. The effects of global warming are very much with us here and now, from melting glaciers to extreme droughts, for example. Here at Eco Africa, we highlight projects and initiatives that are trying to help our planet. A warm welcome to this week's edition. I am Sandra Twinovidio from Kampala, Uganda.
Hi there, Sandra. As you said, there are projects that really give us encouragement and hope. Our top story this week is about one here in Nigeria called Trashcoin. I am Chris Alems, and here's what else is coming up. In Egypt, architects have built a sustainable school. In the Netherlands, a community is developing its own self-sufficient village. And we introduce you to impressive eco-heroes who are bringing down the heat. But we start with a familiar problem. We are drowning in plastic waste. That's bad for the planet and in turn, bad for us. The eco-entrepreneur featured in our first report decided to do something about it. Now based in Germany, he hopes to rid Africa of plastic waste with a mobile app.
The streets of Nigerian city of Port Harcourt are littered with cash. You just have to pick it up, says Grace Lagos. Every day she walks through her district looking for plastic bottles, and there are plenty of them to find. Grace Lagos recently became a member of Trashcoin. The initiative makes it easy for her to exchange what she collects for currency.
They help to clean the environment. They clean the environment well, and like that too. And my neighbor too, they say they join hand to the pig. They give them money. They carry the thing go. They go pay them. They go take and they help their family too.
Trashcoin is a digital marketplace. It connects plastic trash collectors with recycling companies that buy up what they collect. The app was developed by Nordin Elliot Wogu in Germany, where he's been living for 5 years. Germany's plastic recycling system impressed him so much, he created an app that could support recycling efforts in Nigeria.
We don't have electricity to house those reverse vending machines for the collection process. Instead of going to those machines, instead of looking for those machines, since our system cannot accommodate those machines right now, human beings act as collectors, right? So people are able to sign up on the platform and collect bottles.
The key piece of the equipment is a smartphone. A voucher for the value of plastic waste delivered is put on the collector's Trashcoin account.
And this voucher, you just need to scan it with your mobile app. When you scan it, you get paid, credited into the mobile app, and you can exchange easily to your bank account, or you can use it to pay for electricity. You can use it to buy internet data or call time. You can use it to pay for cable TV subscriptions, as well as get health insurance premiums to access basic medical basic medical care.
1 kilo of plastic trash is worth up to 120 naira, the equivalent of 25 euro cents. 5 kilos are enough to pay an average electricity bill. For Grace Lagos, this money makes a big difference.
So to support my market and support my husband, because we don't get money like that. Now I don't fit to buy the jam phone and the jam wire money because of this kunko then why they pick.
But it is not only the plastic collectors who benefit from the initiative. Trashcoin provides seed money for parties interested in opening a plastic collection site. They are given 10,000 naira, around 25 euros, and are then also registered under Trashcoin's name. Destiny Hachi Nyeche started as a collector. Today, she uses a place as a hub.
I tell them basically it was because of their environment. So the intent keeping the environment clean, just like me before. I was just for the money, but when I found out about it, I had to start keeping my environment clean.
Since starting out, Trashcoin has set up 90 collection hubs across Nigeria. and around up to 18 tons of plastic waste have been collected and properly disposed through the service. The business of running the hubs is going well. For women like Ogenetega Itlua, the Trashcoin platform provides an alternative source of income.
I call Trashcoin to pick up in large quantity, like you can see behind, neatly packaged, and I make my passive income with ease, no stress, just at my doorstep and on my fingertips.
Trashcoin works with several recycling companies. The plastic is picked up from the official hub and taken to the recyclers. Here it's cleaned and shredded and turned into new products like synthetic roof tiles. After enormous success, Trashcoin has ambitions to gradually expand throughout Nigeria.
To the Netherlands now, and a new town taking shape near Amsterdam. Here, it's the residents who call the shots when it comes to planning and development.
That is very true, Chris, and it is great to be able to report on another community that is opting to lead innovative and sustainable lifestyles at the same time as boosting local food production. Well, we visited Postermold to find out more.
Sawdust fills the air at this building site around 30 kilometers from Amsterdam. The crew is hard at work. Where now the wind sweeps across the meadow, there will soon be a school for 60 children. Every screw, every fixture is being put in by the parents themselves. One of them is Floris Molenbeek, whose 2 children will attend the school.
We started only 3 weeks ago, and we are already that far.
Houses, streets, parks, playgrounds. The residents are building and developing the 43 square kilometer area themselves. Almere Oosterwolde is an organically growing city and a unique experiment in the Netherlands. The idea is to give people more freedom to create their own living space. Architect Klaas Hofman started the project over 10 years ago.
It's not only freedom, it's also a responsibility. And usually in these kind of normal urban developments, the responsibility is mostly at the developer's side or the municipality's side. It's kind of organized top-down. And in Oosterwolde, this is completely put upside down.
The plan is to have an unplanned city. One of the few rules is that Oosterwolde has to be green. Less than a third of the land can be developed, and every resident is expected to use half of their land for urban farming to encourage biodiversity.
We wanted to kind of introduce a strategy to develop housing in a green environment that would kind of preserve the qualities of the green environment while still allowing people to live inside of it.
Over 1,000 residential units have already sprung up in the countryside east of Amsterdam. For Floris Molenbeek and his family, receiving the subsidy for the parcel of land was a dream come true. Since the house was finished, they've spent a lot of time organizing community life, building the school, and working in the vegetable garden. Once a week, Floris Molenbeek goes into the fields and marks the plots with harvest-ready vegetables.
We are a CSA, a community supported agriculture, and that means that we are producing vegetables for about 50 households.
If the harvest is plentiful, everyone gets more, and they also share the risk of a bad crop. Once a week, community members can pick vegetables in the garden. A message on their phone tells them how many and which ones. Neighbor Alex Heemskerk comes by regularly.
This is just uncomparable in terms of quality. Like, it doesn't have any pesticides on it. They put a lot of love and attention and effort in it. I know them very well personally, so it makes just a big difference in the experience, but also the quality of the food for me.
Community, exchange, original ideas. But there are also challenges in creating Oosterwolde.
You could say it's a social experiment, and that people are not always used that they have to work together. Like, usually it's government laid down, like you can do this, you cannot do that, it's gonna be like this and like that. And here people have to do it themselves, and sometimes it just takes a bit of a learning curve.
The settlement is attracting attention, not least from property developers. Some have built terraced houses on the plots in the middle of Oosterwolde, selling them at high prices while ignoring the tradition of building your own home with an urban garden. The introduction of more regulations from the city has also stirred resentment among residents. And yet, demand to be part of the experiment is huge. Today, there are 10 times the number of applications than there are plots available. That doesn't surprise the parents on the school committee. In addition to a beautiful place to live, they found a real community.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Oosterwolde, that there are a lot of equally minded people, and have the spirit to build things and build also the community, and it's a really strong and powerful community. So that is also that's one of the things I really like and love about Oosterwolde.
In 2 weeks, lessons for the little ones are due to get underway. Until then, there's a lot to do. But cooperation is second nature to the people of Oosterwolde.
Now let's head back to Africa and we go to Egypt, a country situated on the Nile with its deserts, long coastline and megacity Cairo. It is extremely vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Now leaders want to increase public investment in climate-friendly measures by 50% by 2025. Now this does not only apply to major initiatives, but also the small-scale grassroots ones. Now a tiny non-profit outside the capital is among those seeking to bring change to ordinary community life.
Habiba is helping out, and so is Ahmed. Children from the Egyptian village of Eisbet Ishaq are excited about their small new playground that's being built with recycled materials. It's to be really colorful. Neighbors and other villagers are making sure of that. The project was initiated by an Egyptian NGO called Beina. The organization promotes sustainable projects and particularly focuses on children and young people.
Children in rural areas often lack playgrounds. With each project, we are creating open spaces for them, and we make these spaces with recycled materials such as old wood and car tires.
This playground is linked to a new school building, where children with learning difficulties or those who have stopped going to school can receive extra help to get them back into school. The village of Eisbet Ishaq is about a 2-hour journey southwest from Cairo. The area has one of the highest rates of illiteracy in the country. The nearest school is a 2-kilometer walk away on a road with lots of traffic.
We built the classroom for young children. It's much closer, so they won't have to walk on the busy road.
Now the village has the only school of its kind in all of Egypt that's made with recycled materials. It was built from compacted earth and 9,000 plastic bottles filled with sand. Plastic waste is a huge problem in Egypt. The country produces 5.4 million metric tons of plastic each year and is the biggest plastic polluter in the Arab world. The construction industry is responsible for around 1/4 of Egypt's carbon emissions because it relies heavily on concrete. Worldwide, concrete production generates nearly 3 billion tons of CO2 per year. Of course, one school building made of earth and plastic bottles filled with sand won't solve that problem, but it can show what's possible.
There's a trend toward reducing plastic usage and finding solutions or non-polluting ways to recycle it. So we thought, why shouldn't we start with a new idea and a prototype?
Meanwhile, the playground is slowly taking shape. There are very few jobs here, so the villagers are happy to have work. Shaba'an Ashur normally gets by doing casual labor. Here he gets paid 15 euros a day. His son Adam is also helping.
I wanted to work here for the sake of the children. I've gathered new ideas too, which I can apply.
The building work has taken 6 months. Many of the villagers were involved and filmed the progress. The school and playground cost around 10,000 euros to build. The project was funded by UNESCO as a model of how good ideas can help reduce waste. In the evening, the playground is finally ready. The work is over. Now it's time to relax and enjoy the results.
Did you know when the first climate assessment report came out over 30 years ago, the global warming rate was between 0.3 and 0.6 degrees Celsius? Today, the rate is 1.1 degrees, and the latest report says that we humans are almost certainly to blame for the climate crisis and the rise in extreme weather around the world. To learn more, we asked the director of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, Johan Rockstrom, on how bad things really are.
The situation is really worrying. This is the warmest temperature on Earth since we left the last ice age, and within the next 10 years we may reach 1.5 degrees Celsius, and scientifically we today show clearly that's a physical limit. Go beyond it and we risk triggering many tipping points. The Greenland ice sheet, the West Antarctic ice sheet that represents 10 meters sea level rise, but also abrupt thawing of permafrost, which will amplify warming even more. Research shows that we're coming closer to limits of adaptation, meaning that we come to a point where people cannot adapt anymore, and the only choice then is to move. We get climate refugees. So we're in a very delicate situation. We need adaptation for sure, but we have to accelerate the mitigation, not to come too far at a point where we can no longer have adaptation, where farming systems collapse, or where freshwater systems don't work anymore. Just the Arctic and Antarctica together hold 6 of the big tipping point systems. We're talking permafrost, we're talking boreal forest, we're talking the Greenland ice sheet, we're talking the Arctic winter ice, we're talking the West Antarctic ice sheet, and we're talking the Barents Sea ice. And if these are pushed too far, they will irreversibly start moving in a direction that will amplify warming, and they are interconnected with the ocean circulation of heat. They even impact on the monsoon systems. So what happens in the Arctic will impact on rainfall over the Amazon rainforest. The good news, the part of good news is that we today have so many solutions, technologies, practices, systems, everything from electric mobility to wind power and solar voltaics that actually compete without subsidies with fossil fuel systems. So from a business leader or an economic perspective, it makes sense to invest in sustainability, not only to reduce risks of unmanageable damage, but also because it just makes economic sense. My conclusion is that we can still land at 1.5, but it will certainly, unfortunately, mean a period of overshoot before we can finally stabilize at 1.5. The challenge is that we just need to bend the global curve of emissions. Can we do that? Well, the answer is yes, if we just decide to do it.
Before signing off today, we would like to present 3 eco-heroes. They all live on different continents but share a common goal to raise awareness about the dangers of extreme heat and find ways to beat it.
Known as Chief Heat Officers, they are among a group of people working on behalf of the United Nations who team up with municipal authorities to devise plans to keep us cool.
Heat waves basically affect our bodies and the ecosystems around us. They're the most dangerous extreme weather phenomena, and they send us to the hospital or they kill us.
This is Europe's first Chief Heat Officer. Her task is to find ways to protect citizens from the dangerous effects of extreme heat. As the climate warms and the frequency of heat waves dramatically increases, cities are appointing people like her to limit the dangers. We talked to 3 of them to find out how we can best deal with this new normal. What's coming our way, and what can we do to protect ourselves?
I started thinking of what I have to do in 3 pillars. The first pillar has to do with raising awareness.
Many of us aren't aware of just how dangerous heat can be, because heat is a silent killer. We don't see the effects of extreme heat as visibly as the physical destruction brought by hurricanes, floods, and other natural disasters. But extreme heat now kills up to 500,000 people worldwide each year. That's more than all other natural disasters that aren't due to the temperature. And the problem is getting worse, especially in cities, which are heating up at twice the global average rate because they trap heat more than non-urban areas. By 2100, cities across the world could warm as much as 4.4 degrees Celsius on average. So how do officials best sound the alarm and make sure people understand the gravity of the situation?
One of the things that we've done for raising awareness, which I think is really a game changer, is we have been categorizing heat waves for the first time in Athens this year.
It's a pilot project that was started in Seville, Spain and Athens, Greece, and will be adopted by other cities soon. It categorizes heat waves based on their effect on human health, much like earthquakes get categorized based on their intensity. The idea is to help people prepare and respond better. The city of Athens even developed an extreme heat app that's now also being used in Milan, Paris, and Rotterdam.
We have an application called Extrema Global that shows you your personalized risk depending where you are in the city, and your age and your gender, and whether you have pre-existing conditions, and tells you also on the map where to go to take cover, where the cool spots are around you.
In a similar effort, Africa's first heat officer is currently creating a heat map for the city of Freetown.
What we're trying to do is to understand where are the hot spots, where are the urban heat islands, to better plan and prioritize resources.
Resources in Sierra Leone are limited, so Eugenia Carbo wants to focus on helping the most vulnerable people first. That includes female vendors who are exposed to the sun all day when selling their produce in uncovered markets without any shade.
So what we've done is to work together with those women and design a project which we call the Market Shade Cover Project. Basically, we use a material that is heat reflective, that doesn't absorb the heat, to provide a shade cover for the women.
Meanwhile, Freetown is currently cleaning up garbage sites and converting them into public gardens that are clean, safe, and cool. They're also planting 1 million trees across the city so that Freetown eventually becomes Tree Town. Santiago de Chile is taking a similar approach.
We just fund a $2 million urban forest program. It's a really ambitious initiative that aims to provide with at least 30,000 trees for the city. We never had that in the past before.
Trees don't just provide shade and reflect the sun's rays back up, they also help lower the air temperature around them by essentially sweating. They take up water from the ground, which then gets put back into the air through a process called evapotranspiration. But they aren't the only form of vegetation that can help cool down the air. In places where there might not be enough space for new trees, streets and roofs can also be greened. Cities across the world, from Paris to London, Bangkok to Singapore, have started incorporating green roofs or living walls in their urban architecture. And Santiago de Chile is looking to do the same. Using nature-based materials with high solar reflectance is one idea. Another is going back to using light-colored materials for the outside of buildings, from walls to roofs, something that Southern Europe has been doing for a long time. And now, other cities across the globe can adapt that idea. Of course, climate change caused by carbon emissions is the real driver of extreme heat. We have to drastically cut our greenhouse gas emissions in order to prevent a catastrophic level of global warming. But experts say that even then, so much damage has already been done that we'll also have to learn to adapt.
That's why we are addressing the problem now in order to prepare us for the future. We know that preparedness takes time, and we don't need to wait until a disaster or a heat wave hits us in the face in order to prepare for that.
And that brings our show to a close. We hope you enjoyed it and that you come back again next week. Until then, take care. I'm Chris Elem signing off from Nigeria.
Time for me to say goodbye from Uganda as well. But of course, be sure to check us out on all our social media platforms so that we can all stay in touch. That's all for now. It is a goodbye from Kampala here in Uganda.